It's not just hot tea tonight, ladies and gentlemen, so put an end to whatever you're doing. It comes directly from Scandal City's core and is molten lava. Imagine finding your husband entangled with someone who was meant to be your industry sister, a fellow diva, a lady who thrives on chaos and revelation, as you go into your own home and into your sacred bed. Yes, I am referring to Tamar Braxton. Tell me, is this the lost pilot episode of Scandal Love and Hip Hop, or is this real life? According to the rumors, Yandy caught them in the act rather than only suspecting them. Yes, it is correct. Allegedly red-handed, and Area 51 appears to be an open house according to leaks, dubious direct messages, and hazy images that have already lit up the internet. Here's the actual query, though. Is this treachery so egregious and fundamental that it ruins reputations, marriages, and jobs all at once? Or is this the most complex plot twist that reality TV has ever devised? Tonight, we're delving deeply into a narrative so tangled that even Mona Scott would be reluctant to approve it, so stay tuned. This is about to get disastrous, so fasten your seatbelts. Even the most seasoned gossip enthusiasts are wondering if the scandal at the start of the article is genuine or just another failed reality TV stunt. Because when you learn that Yandy Smith allegedly entered her house and discovered her husband Mendeecees Harris with Tamar Braxton in her bed, you almost have to pause and consider whether this is an episode that was leaked by the universe or if it is a nightmare taken directly from the messy archives of love and hip-hop history. However, industry rumors suggest that this was not faked. It didn't follow a script. Even Mona Scott would be hesitant to broadcast the treachery because it was so blatant. That's saying something. You must examine these individuals and the burdens they bear in order to comprehend the scope of this catastrophe. Because Yandy has spent years presenting herself as the epitome of strength and control, supporting her partner during his incarceration and term, and raising their family. Mendeecees has put in a lot of effort to tell the world about his narrative of redemption, giving interviews about parenthood, second chances, and his desire to become a new man, a family guy, and a man who had learned his lessons from the streets. And Tamar Braxton, a lady who can make any scenario into top news, from public meltdowns to blazing clapbacks to her well-known dramatic exits, is essentially the mascot of chaos in the entertainment industry. Therefore, there isn't a scandal when these three individuals are included in the same plot. It's a demolition. Imagine what happened that evening. When Yandy returns home, possibly anticipating a peaceful evening, she opens her bedroom door to discover Mendeecees is watching. Tamar, the diva whose name alone creates drama, is said to have become involved with the man who swore on everything sacred that he had altered. Insiders claim that Yandy's scream could be heard all the way down the street since the moment was so startling. Neighbors reportedly talked about the scream on gossip blogs, saying they nearly phoned the police because they believed a fight was about to break out. They were, in a way, correct. Because what transpired was more than a simple altercation between three individuals. It marked the start of a conflict that would spread to blogs, social media, and even network and sponsor boardrooms. However, history is important in this case, so let's not skip it before we discuss the aftermath. Mendeecees' reputation has never been impeccable. Love and hip-hop fans recall the innumerable seasons in which women were everywhere with receipts, screenshots, and claims. At every reunion, a woman would emerge from the shadows to claim he had been in her bed or direct messages. And Yandy would stand up for her boyfriend, always keeping her chin up, claiming that her marriage and family were strong and that no outsider could destroy what they had. She maintained that stance for years, despite the fact that it was hard to believe. However, the receipts are supposedly indisputable this time. There is video footage of Mendeecees and Tamar in an embrace that is too personal to ignore, according to people close to the matter. The type of grainy video that circulates in private WhatsApp groups before leaking onto Twitter, where it spreads like wildfire. According to one source, the video makes you hold your pearls and reevaluate all of your preconceived notions about loyalty, family, and the bounds of boldness. What about Tamar? Why, of all people, Tamar? Because if you have followed her career, you are aware that she frequently makes mistakes. She has experienced family dissolutions, public divorces, and conflicts in the profession, all of which she has overcome to reinvent her. However, being branded as the ultimate homewrecker is not something you walk away from easily, especially when the receipts are going viral, and this scandal threatens to wipe any comeback. Additionally, anonymous direct messages are circulating, purportedly between Tamar and a friend, in which she claims that although she did not want for it to happen this way, chemistry does not lie and she was unable to resist what felt genuine. Since the internet is not a court of law, it almost doesn't matter now if those messages are real or a Photoshop invention from some bored troll in Atlanta. It doesn't wait for proof. Tamar is already being dragged across timeframes as the decade's antagonist since it renders judgment immediately. In the meantime, Mendeecees is portrayed as the idiot who betrayed not just his wife but also his own redemption arc. He went from making speeches about accountability to purportedly starring in the year's most shocking leak. And nobody is blind to the irony. Even older videos of him making jokes about being a ladies' man have been uncovered by fans and are currently doing the rounds with captions like, "He told us who he was. We simply didn't pay attention. Here we are, then." The stage is set, the treachery is exposed, and the internet is getting ready for the impending consequences. After the rumors transformed into screenshots and hazy videos, the internet did not waste any time since, in a matter of hours, the scandal had taken center stage on all platforms, with Twitter threads bursting. Instagram sites are vying to provide the most shocking aspect of the story, while TikTok creators are already acting out the purported event with dollar store decorations and wigs. And the responses were harsh. While some admirers accused Tamar of being the greatest homewrecker, others praised her, saying she deserved happiness even if it was chaotic. Supporters of Yandy also filled comment sections with statements such as, "Happiness does not mean stealing someone's husband in her bed." The fire was simply stoked by the severe division. However, the so-called insider leaks that began to surface rendered the situation even more absurd. Producers from Love and Hip Hop allegedly sent direct messages alleging that cameras were on at the time of the controversy, implying that Mona Scott had planned the entire incident as a plot point for the upcoming season. And the timing seemed strange, whether it was genuine or not. Reunion season is approaching, hashtags are popular, and a tape leak has occurred. It appeared nearly too flawless. However, many who said they saw the video insisted it wasn't a joke. That the door flinging open spontaneously, the private whispers, and the actual panic in the room made the catastrophe seem much more sinister. Only petrol was added by fake leaks. YouTube videos purport to show Tamar and Mendeecees bickering over Yandy early return. Screenshots purportedly showing Yandy texting friends about betrayal and humiliation. Even made up court records that said she had already filed for divorce. It's all unverifiable. However, proof is meaningless in the economics of scandal. A rumor will cling more quickly if it is juicy. And for that reason, before any of the parties involved had even made a public statement, the story went out of control. When Yandy eventually made a live appearance on Instagram, her voice was shaking and her eyes were red. "People will break you, but God will rebuild you," was all she said. Everyone knew who she meant, even though she did not give names. Broken hearts, snakes, popcorn, and a verbal sparring match between fans who wanted to see her set free and those who maintained she had always known what kind of man Mendeecees was filled the comments section. In contrast, Tamar shared a picture of herself wearing high-end heels and wrote, "Unbothered darling." She was accused of taunting Yandy and laughing at the disintegration of a family in a single post that sparked 1,000 angry comments. And Mendeecees didn't say anything. A silence that most people interpreted as proof of guilt because, in scandals like this, the internet will write it for you if you don't say your side. Then there were rumors that Yandy had frozen joint bank accounts, leaving Mendeecees in disarray, and that Tamar's management team was in a panic due to sponsors pulling out. Brands don't pay for chaos unless they own the network, an unnamed insider revealed on a podcast. Furthermore, tomorrow was currently too poisonous for anyone to come into contact with. The sense that this was more than just bedroom drama was further enhanced by the possibility of financial repercussions. It was a real-time act of career suicide. The assertion that the video had not just leaked, however, was the most explosive twist. It had been sold. Insiders suggesting someone close to the circle cashed out by passing the video to gossip blogs, turning heartbreak into profit, which meant Yandy was not only fighting betrayal, but also a system profiting from her pain. And that revelation turned the scandal from a private tragedy into a public business deal. By now, the story had grown legs of its own, with petitions circulating to have Tamar dropped from VH1 projects. Castmates like Erica Mena and Suffer tossing cryptic shade online, and fans speculating endlessly about whether the whole thing was a trap set by Yandy to catch Mendeecees red-handed or a plot orchestrated by producers for ratings. And in every theory, one truth remained. The humiliation was undeniable. The footage was spreading and reputations were being shredded in real time, leaving only one question hanging over the wreckage. How far would the fallout go before someone snapped? By the time the dust began to settle, the scandal had grown so large that it was no longer just gossip on blogs, but a full-blown spectacle dragging in lawyers, network sponsors, and even rumors of government attention. Because once a leaked intimate video is involved, the stakes rise from embarrassment to potential criminal investigations. And according to alleged insiders, Yandy wasted no time contacting her legal team, demanding action with whispers of lawsuits for emotional distress, invasion of privacy, and damage to her children's well-being. And while none of these filings have been verified, screenshots of supposed court documents started circulating online, with her alleged words claiming her brand was tarnished and her home violated and the internet consumed. It is gospel truth, as if the courtroom was already in session. While Tamar's management team was said to be scrambling to contain the fallout, allegedly losing sponsorships and facing quiet blacklists from luxury brands who no longer wanted their gowns or jewelry associated with a woman trending as a home wrecker. And Mendeecees remained notably silent, his absence from statements fueling more speculation that he was hiding from cameras or preparing some half-hearted redemption speech. Silence in the age of memes is its own confession, and fans dragged up every old clip, every mugshot, and every boastful soundbite to remind the world that he had shown signs of this behavior before. Network executives were not spared, either, as anonymous claims leaked that VH1 was debating whether to lean into the scandal and make it the centerpiece of the next Love and Hip Hop season, or distance themselves entirely to avoid backlash. Because profiting off the pain of children and families might be good for ratings, but it is disastrous for brand reputation. And those whispers only heightened the theory that this entire mess had been encouraged, if not orchestrated, by producers chasing the ultimate storyline. Financial consequences only added to the chaos, as blogs claimed Yandy froze joint assets, locking Men's out of accounts and even preparing to sell property to rebuild her life without him. While Tamar allegedly faced cancelled gigs and concert appearances as venues pulled out, afraid the scandal would overshadow ticket sales, and sponsors quietly disappeared. A podcast host summed it up bluntly, calling the situation not just a scandal, but career suicide playing out frame by frame on social media. And then came the nuclear threat of revenge leaks, with whispers that Tamar had threatened to release screenshots, voice notes, and messages proving Mendeecees had pursued her aggressively and begged for her attention, which, if true, would flip the villain narrative back onto him, but also risked destroying both of them, because once more leaks emerge, nobody comes out clean. The public did not sit quietly. Either petitions gained traction demanding Tamar be dropped from all future VH1 projects, while others called for protection of Yandy's children from public humiliation, and memes flooded every platform from Yandy and boxing gloves captioned "Round 2. Reunion Special" to side-by-side photos of her crying in old episodes contrasted with Tamar laughing on Braxton family values, as if fate had been mocking her all along, and the knives from fellow cast members were just as sharp, with Erica Mena going live to declare where karma always comes home. Safari mocking that drama belongs off camera, and Carly 3 Red posting a cryptic selfie sipping wine with the caption "Tables always turn." As the pressure mounted, rumors emerged that Yandy was preparing to sit down for a tell-all interview with a major talk show, which if true would cement her as the sympathetic figure while painting Tamar and Mendeecees as the villains forever. Because in scandals like this, the first person to cry on camera often wins the sympathy war regardless of the facts. And what makes this saga even more tragic is the human cost beneath the hashtags and viral threads. Children are scrolling through comments calling their father a liar and their mother a victim, while Tamar's son is forced to see strangers label his mother the home wrecker of the century, scars that will linger long after the internet finds its next obsession. And yet the machinery of scandal grinds on, because Yandy and Mendeecees built their empire on reality TV drama and Tamar built hers on chaos and confession. So it almost feels inevitable that all three collided in the perfect storm, producing a scandal so sensational even their harshest enemies could not have scripted it better. And where it ends is anyone's guess. Divorce papers, lawsuits, more leaked tapes, or a reunion special that pretends to heal wounds while cashing in on ratings. Because in this world, redemption is not earned. It is monetized. And tragedy is simply another storyline waiting to be sold. So here we are at the end of this wild ride. And the question is, not just who betrayed who, but what does it say about the messy empire of reality TV where loyalty is currency and betrayal is a marketing tool? Because if Yandy, Tamar and Mendeecees can blow up in this way right in front of our eyes, what secrets are still hiding behind closed doors waiting to be exposed? And if this is just the beginning, then you know the next chapter will be even darker, even louder, and even more profitable for the blogs, the networks, and the paparazzi who feast on broken hearts like it is prime rib. And that is why you cannot just scroll past this one, because scandals like this rewrite the playbook and they deserve to be analyzed, discussed, and dragged until the truth, or at least the juiciest version of it, comes flooding out. So tell me, do you feel Tamar is the architect of this betrayal? Or is Mendeecees the one who played both women while smiling in the camera? And do you think Yandy will eventually break ties or convert her anguish into another storyline that keeps her brand alive? Drop your ideas below. Hit the like button, press subscribe, and ring the bell, because this is only the beginning of the truth I deliver you, and you do not want to miss the next explosive disclosure.